Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be Alliance War Season 57, Number 9, and AOH has matched up against 4 Loki. We always seem to match 4 Loki every single season, and somehow every season they put up their best kills, or their best lowest number of deaths, the entire season against us. And I don't know how, because in the war before this, 4 Loki died 12 times. And then they went up against us and only died 4. So, I don't know what it is. Maybe they just unlock super power mode when they match us, but we don't like it, and we would appreciate it if they would stop doing that. So we are on Path 3, Section 1 here, and we have Thanos for this Red Skull. This is not a matchup that I would have imagined myself. However, I was sent a video of this, and I thought it was honestly pretty impressive how well Thanos could do it. So what you have to do at the beginning of the fight is you have to hit into the block a bunch to get the armors removed, or else you will bleed to death. There, I somehow whiffed that heavy. The spacing looked correct to me, but apparently not. There, that was supposed to be an SP1. So we are starting out the fight absolutely perfectly, and just nothing is going right. We are going to get the fight back on track, but the start was just so horrendous. And then you want to just go for heavy attacks to counter the special one. You want to be able to pause your stuff as much as you can, because if the armor shatter goes away, you will start gaining armor ups again, which you obviously do not want. Here we're going to go for the pause into the special one just to give us some damage, and with how much damage that did, I knew I can just go for it right here. Fight would have been a little bit faster had I not pushed myself to special 2 at the beginning by accident, but clearly a very, very safe option. If you can just remove the armor ups at the beginning, prevent them from ever triggering, then you don't have to worry about glancing. You never have to worry about bleed, and the cost is like 20% of your health at the beginning of the fight. So very, very safe option there. And now we have the same fight again that I take every single war. I'm taking it again next war. I'm taking it again in the war after that. And War 12 has not started, but I am 99% sure I'm going to be taking this fight in War 12 because everyone is just addicted to placing Enchantress on this node. And I get it. It's a good placement. I honestly get it. But, I'm just tired of it. Please stop. Please stop for my sanity. This is never getting a kill. If you die to this node, it's just because you're unprepared. This is never ever getting a kill. There we had a weird L1 with, but it's fine. I'm gonna bait 2 SP1s. Here we get some really nice spells. So there I missed the dex on the end of the special one. There she does not go for my intercept, but I think we're just gonna go for this. There we go. There I don't know why I didn't keep hitting, because it would have been some extra damage. Here I notice we have the combat power rate charge, so I'm just going to throw the special right away. I don't believe it stops me from getting to specials for the rest of the fight, so we're still okay. But we are still going to want to throw specials even while we're trying to push Enchantress to a special 2 here. Just because as soon as you start losing your combat power rate, the fight is just going to take a lot longer, because that's a significant amount of your damage that's now missing. But here, I don't know why we aren't going for a heavy attack here. I definitely should be. That was really, really stupid. And there I should have gone for a striker into an SP1. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing, apparently. Luckily here, we get really good spells. Even had we gotten the worst possible spells with a miss, a knockdown, and an unstoppable spell, and by knockdown I mean the evade all knockdowns thing, we still had the striker ready, and the striker cannot miss. So it is a guaranteed way to remove all of the spells except for the intercept one. So yeah, that fight goes well. That was a rank 4 Enchantress, goes down in a little bit over 2 minutes. And considering I messed up multiple times in that fight, I'm pretty happy with that. So now let's go into Section 2. We are going to be over on Path 8, and we are going to be taking this Spider Ham. I kind of was going back and forth in my head between Thanos and Titania. In the end, I ended up going with Titania, and the reason I went with Titania was just because if you need to, you have the stagger on your heavy attack to stop the power gain. Not that the power gain actually does that much, but that's what we end up going with. I don't remember if I use it. Okay, I do use an invuln boost. That's probably the right call here. Honestly, I probably end up using that invuln boost. So, yeah, this is a rank 3 spam. Not too difficult. Obviously not like a counter to this fight in any way, but we're just going to be doing our light, medium combos, spamming special 1. I think we're going to go for our heavy attack here. Yeah, so unfortunately we weren't able to throw the special 1 instantly, so he does get one of his nonsense. But it's okay because we are actually able to stagger the power gain right there. Constantly having the taunt on us is obviously going to suck for our damage output, but there's not much you can do. And then here we're going to use the indestructible to throw a special 1, even though there was a power sting active. And then there we are able to nullify, or rather stagger the power gain once again. Power gain, I believe, is going to get through a couple times in this fight, but it's never going to actually amount to anything, so it's fine. Here we throw special 1 once again. Gotta bait the special 1, and yeah, that is where the power gain gets through. So it is a little bit of power gain, a little bit annoying, but it's fine. We're still gonna deal with it pretty well, and then here we have to bait another special 1. So yeah, your damage output in a fight like this isn't fantastic with Titania, just because the way you want to play this fight, the opponent will basically always have a taunt, but it's not the worst thing. It's a little bit long. There I get parried because I tried to counter the special with a light attack to not give him one of the buffs. And then there we take the power sting while throwing a special into the block and eat a combo for it. So we did make an attempt to throw the fight right at the end, but I am not going to die. So the fight is going to go down. I think I ended around like a similar health point that I'm at right now. And there we missed the stagger. We do not stagger the power gain correctly. I wish that they would give a timer for when the power gain comes back, because it does come back consistently. You just don't know when that is, which is the annoying part. And then here we're going to throw the special 1. What I should have done there was a heavy charge into the special 1, because I don't know what exactly I'm saving my indestructible for. But we could have just saved a little bit of health. Not that it matters, because that is Titania's last fight, but that's just a small mistake that I noticed having watched the fight back. So now we have a couple of hood fights, 2 fights to end off the war, and they're both defenders that I don't have to worry about the bullets situation. So we're throwing on an advanced power boost, and it's just going to be for these 2 fights. We have Gorr on this node. Really, really easy fight. I think Hood is without a doubt the best counter. But unfortunately, we get some pretty bad RNG, and on the 1 hit in the fight that you have to block, we get a bleed on us. That bleed is going to take away 30% of our health. So it's annoying, but like it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It's just slightly annoying. And then here we go for the heavy. Does not kill, so I decided to bait the SP2. I didn't have to bait that SP2 for the record. I could have just kept hitting, and I would have killed, because clearly a combo right here into a striker, into a heavy kills, so that would have killed before. Him throwing power changed nothing other than me being unstoppable, and the damage increase I got from unstoppable did not end up making the difference. It would have been enough even without it. So now we're going up to node 45 Sersi. I will also be taking node 44 Maestro this war with my other account, but I figured it kind of made sense for me to bring 2 hoods, so I might as well take 2 hazard shift fights. We are healing up here, but totally not necessary because I'm not going to take much damage in this fight. Normally what you want to do with Sersi is you want to abuse her buffs to get instantly to a special 2. But on this fight, I just decide, you know, it's a rank 3 Sersi. I don't even know why she's on this node. It doesn't even make sense, even if you're not using Hood, because Purgatory also like hard counters this if you have the Hood synergy. And yeah, it's a really easy fight. We get some pretty brutal RNG on our hazard, or sorry, not on our hazard shift, on our power steals at the beginning of the fight. And then there, she goes for the special one because I tried to charge my heavy like an idiot because I didn't trust that stun to stick. And then this doesn't kill, so we're going to bait the SP2, I believe. Yeah, we're going to bait the SP2, just block that, and then Dex out at the end. You can't counter it if you're not invisible, but we're just going to get our invisibility up, and then she's going to drop 10 seconds later. So, very, very clean, not clean, very, very easy fight where I made one mistake. And now we are getting over to the main part of the video, which is the 10-fight Hood War on my ult. I am taking 10 fights, all of which are with Hood, just because I don't think 4Loki understands how insanely broken Hood is, or at the very least they don't think that he is a top priority. There, unfortunately, even though I was pretty far away, we do get a heavy charge from Surfer, which was a little bit annoying, so we now are reverse controlled, but we're just trying to milk our bullets here. We're going to go for this L2, just because I was a little bit too close to 3 bars of power and I didn't want to risk anything happening. There we get a, I don't know how that heavy did not land. Surfer reacted so fast there. But we do actually have our Fate Seal fail 2 of the 3 petrifies from the node, so we actually did not trigger reverse controls when baiting a special, which is the main reason I like to use Hood here a lot. Here we go for a striker, just in case Surfer wants to throw a special while I'm charging heavy. And yeah, Surfer goes down really easily. We had a little bit of a scare there when the fight decided to take about 5 seconds to load after it was being done, or after it was done, excuse me. But now we will heal up for Kraven. I think I said it in a previous video that Kraven on this node is a really popular placement, and I just simply don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, Kraven's going to throw a special 1 in this fight. I'm going to get rooted. I just don't care. It's not going to do anything, and the combat power rate crossfight is not going to do anything either. So now we have this fight here. Really, really straightforward. Kraven is an awful defender. He does not belong on the Alliance War map, even with this tactic. Like, not every tactic champs needs to be placed, and Kraven is the perfect example of that. Because bro does nothing. Let's be honest, bro does nothing. Here, we get a special 1 thrown into our block, so we are going to get rooted. Doesn't do anything. We're going to throw a heavy just for timing and just for spacing. It does not matter. We go for a heavy counter heavy. There I was already at max bullets, so I don't know why I did that, but I mean, it doesn't matter why I did it. And then here we go for another L2. But you know what? I will thank Kraven for healing me up in this fight, because I'm pretty sure I ended at more health than I entered due to his debuffs. So thank you for placing that and saving me a potion, because I'm actually going to use a lot of potions in this war, because one fight that should have been very easy goes very, very badly. So let's get into section 2, and we're going to have Mysterio on this first node. I was just checking what the crossfight was, and it was what I thought it was. It was just combat power rate lowering. This is high energy diet. Your special 2 and your heavy detonations are not going to deal damage, so you're just going to be going off of your basics here. But I've done this node so many times with Hood this meta, and it's very, very straightforward. There's not many defenders that Hood can do that he can't do on this node. Like, even someone like Dark Phoenix, where the rotation for Hood in that matchup 100% requires spamming special 2, you can just have your SP2 not deal damage, right? Like, it doesn't have to deal damage. So you can just play it so that your L2 doesn't deal damage, and you just do all the damage with your basics. And Dark Phoenix still does not do anything. Like, she's still just, I don't know how to say it any other way. She just doesn't do anything. And then here, we're going to push to the special 2 once again. Bait it out, let it drain our power, because we just don't need power. I mean, technically I could have thrown a special 3, because it's not energy damage, and it would have inflicted a pretty potent bleed, but who cares? Clearly the fight went very, very well, and I did not need to do something like that. And then there, we actually land that intercept before the miss triggers, but had we missed the intercept, because we'd only missed 2 hits in that invisibility, the third hit would have been an 80% chance to miss. So still a very high chance, and if that didn't work, then another 80% on the next hit. So you're basically guaranteed to not eat a combo. So there, I had a weird notification at the beginning of that fight where my phone changed into game mode. I don't know why it wasn't in game mode to start off with, but it just had me swiping down to check that I was recording, because I'm like, wait, what if it stopped recording? And that's why that came up. I don't know. Anyways, we have this buffet Thanos. I think I did this last war, actually. Like, literally last war. And this one goes a lot better, because unlike last war, we don't just let him regen 60% of his health out of nowhere for no reason. We don't do that. Like I did last time. There we throw a hit into his miss because I'm dumb. But we're just trying to build up our bullets. Here he goes unstoppable, or unblockable, excuse me. Doesn't really matter because his specials are easy to dex, and I had my invisibility ready. But as you can see, we're chipping him down. We're past our first protection phase, and if I throw a heavy here, we're going to get to our second one. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to let, I let Buffet consume my dex, and then we're going to get to another special too. Here, right there. And then that triggers the second invisibility protection, and then I think we just go for a heavy right here to get past the third one. Nice. And now we just probably need to throw one more special too. We make him go unstoppable just because I forgot. I'm not going to try to say that that was a strategic move at all. It clearly was not. He does get a little bit of regen here at the end, but I think we just go in and throw this special too because I want to stop the healing. Yep. And now we just need to land a heavy, and this bro is dead. So there we go. Pretty easy fight. You can obviously get messed up a little bit, and I did lose a fair number of bullets, but it's okay. We're still fine. Let's go on to the first mini-boss island, where we are taking Node 39 Kindred. And the matchup of Hood versus Kindred is one that you have to play slightly differently than I normally would against a lot of defenders, and that is because Kindred's tentacle or centipede hits, they're called, put a what's that passive called? It's the passive that reduces the duration of buffs. He places that passive on you, and his first medium is a tentacle. I don't know about his second medium, but his first one definitely is. And unfortunately, it triggers through the block. So if I were to parry his special one before I don't know why I threw that out too. I should have gotten invisibility up, but it's fine. If I were to parry his medium attack before throwing my special 2, the invisibility, or it's called atrophy, that's what it's called. The invisibility would be shortened due to atrophy. So, yeah. Fight went down really easily. When we have a Fate Seal up and he attempts to trigger Root, there's a 65% chance for it to fail. So, it did fail there. And now we have a fight I have not taken before in this meta in season. I took it once in the off season, and this is going to be Node 42 Knull. We normally send Mole Man to this fight, but our guy that does it, he has been struggling just a little bit with this fight, so I figured I would give him a war off and I'd take it myself. And I actually took this fight in the Alliance War showcase I made for Hood, featuring a bunch of off-season videos. And in that video, I said, this is not a good matchup for Hood. Don't do this unless you have a PS1. And what do I have? A PS1. So we are going to do this. And I think right here we're going to go for another special 2. The strat that you want to go for with Hood in this fight is that you never want to pay attention to the power sting. He's going to be unblockable the entire fight. You don't want to bait special 1. If he wants to throw special 2, great, because then you can remove his unblockable and get your own unblockable. But yeah, you mostly just want to ignore the power sting, soak up that damage. You're still going to end pretty healthy, and you also have a 65% chance when he crosses a bar of power to fail the power sting anyways. But now we have node 44 Maestro, and I don't know what it was about this fight. Maybe I'll see it this time watching back. Something about this attempt just went so much worse than any other time I've taken this fight. And I just don't know what it is. It could be the fact that I got 5 poisons on my first 6 hits of the fight. It could be that. But it's going to continue, and you can see we are already losing the health race really badly. He's getting his charges. He also started off the fight with a couple combos into my block, which just made it a lot more difficult for me to knock him down, to stop his charges. And then here I notice, yeah, he's gonna get to his 40 charges. There's nothing I can do about it. So at this point, if I want to solo this fight, I just have to try to get down his charges as fast as I possibly can. I don't have a Fate Seal up, so I don't know why I did so many hits there, but we are now winning the health race. We are unfortunately losing a good amount of health. However, we're still winning. We get invisibility back up. We go for a heavy that he does not want to go for. He's going to dash in. We're going to throw a heavy. That is going to remove the final charges of the fight, but I'm now losing the health race, and I'm like, oh shit. If I am going to win this fight, it is going to be by dashing in here and throwing a heavy. In hindsight, having watched that fight back, I realize now that I only had 1 DOT on me, so it would not have killed me. I could have very safely baited out that special 1, countered with a medium, thrown a striker into a heavy, and I would have soloed. But in my mind, I was so focused on the path to victory being throwing special 2, getting bullets up, instantly dashing in, and heavying, that I didn't even bother checking how many hazard shift DOT, like how many debuffs that SP2 triggered. And it was only 1. So I made that risky for no reason. That fight should have been a lot better. And now we'll go on to the weirdest Hood matchup of the war that I've not done yet this season, and that's going to be Hood versus Onslaught on Node 47. Node 47 Onslaught is normally a fight we would send Shocker to. I have actually done it before in this meta. It's just SP1, SP1, SP2, and the fight is over, even if against an R4 Onslaught. And Hood versus Onslaught works. I have seen people use Hood for Onslaught bosses, and it does work very well. The only thing is, you do not have the safety net of your miss to rely on if you have an auto shock. So as long as you know that, is not 100% reliable in this fight, your miss, and then there I get heavied somehow. I don't even know how that hit me. Now we're going to get neuroshocked and magnetized, which is just beautiful. And then here we have, oh, for some reason I thought my miss failed from magnetized, but it didn't. We just want to keep up our bullets, keep up our hexes, and then get ready to detonate them. I think I'm going to throw 1 more special too. Because I have the Strife synergy here, I probably could have ended this fight right here had I just heavied, as long as I was invisible. But I think we were just going for the safe play. And then here we get the Unstoppable. Throw the L2, get a bunch of bullets back, and we are ready to detonate. So I think we are going to, striker into a heavy. Way overkill on that heavy attack, but you know what? It was safe. We ended the fight with pretty good health, and I'm pretty happy with that. Now we have a fight that went way better than I was expecting. I mean, to be fair, it's a good matchup. Hood versus Sentinel is a fantastic matchup, but I didn't expect this fight specifically to go as smoothly as it did. So this is Sentinel on node 49, which is the node where you don't have power gain unless you have a DOT effect on the opponent, like basically combat power rate doesn't give you anything. However, Hood does have a source of power gain, being his invisibility. So we hit him a couple times just to give him some power, so when we power steal we get a little more back. And we just need to trigger, I think it's 4 power steals in this fight, so that's 3 so far. I think we need to get 1 more, and then we're going to be completely fine. You'll also notice in this fight, I'm being very liberal with my bullets, and that's because I don't need them. I am taking the boss, but the champ that's on the boss, the boss node is not a champ I need bullets for. So, yeah, we're just going to keep spamming the special 2. We get back to another special 2 right here, and at this point I realize I can just heavy and end the fight, because while you normally want to do about half of the opponent's health before you heavy, Sentinel has extra armor rating. So your damage from hexes is going to be greater than the amount of damage you're getting from your basic hits, like ratio wise. If you understand what I'm saying a greater percentage of your damage will come from your hex detonation in the Sentinel fight as opposed to regular matchups. That's what I mean. So you can go for the heavy a little bit earlier, and by earlier I mean how much health your opponent has, like percentage. So yeah, this is a Nova boss. I've got to admit I don't understand this. Nova's not a hard defender, and him being on the boss node doesn't change that. Like, there's a little argument for the fact that the tactic removing his unblockable, making the opponent go unblockable, makes you deal less damage. But, like, bro, it just does not matter. You're going to L2 cycle him. A lot of the times, you're not even going to be unblockable. Here, we decide to go for the SP2 bait because I know the decks really well. Here we go for the L2. Don't know why. We probably should have saved that L2, but it's fine because we're going to get a couple power steals. That power steal got me, like, a full baller power because he had 2 bars already. But very safe fight. I think this fight's going to go down in about like 25 seconds. At one point in this fight, we're going to intentionally not counter his special attack so we don't get the unblockable, and that is when we're going to be ready for our detonation. So as you can see, I have 30 hexes on. I don't know if it would kill from here or not. I think it would be really close if I had invisibility up, but I think right here is where I go for it. I think we're gonna activate our invisibility and then specifically not counter so that after this L2 we can hit him with a heavy and he is gonna drop. So there we go for a striker, because why not, into a heavy, and that does finish the fight off. That fight could have been a lot faster. I think Hood can probably do that fight in about a minute, maybe like a minute 10, but it's not terrible, and it was very safe clearly because I ended at 100% health. But yeah, the 10 fight Hood war is complete. We did not die. Unfortunately, we did lose this war. As I said at the beginning, 4 Loki just turns on some superpower mode against us and just doesn't die. Despite how many times they've been dying in other wars. I believe they actually had a really good War 10 as well. Like the war after this, I'm pretty sure they had a very good score, so maybe they were just running hot for a bit. But to us, it kind of felt like out of nowhere they put up a really good score. But I have actually seen screenshots of, I think it was War 10, they were against GT40, and they tied them and lost on time. So really, really impressive. I'm definitely not saying anything bad about that alliance. But that is now the 3rd war in a row that we have lost, which is not great. So we're now at a record of 4-5. Or sorry, no, that's the 2nd war in a row. I don't know why I said 3rd. So we're now 4-5 on the season. So we basically need to win 2 of the last 3 wars if we want to get Masters. I still have 0 deaths on the season on both accounts. And my PSR is 116 out of 116 fights soloed, or 100%. My main is at 43 out of 43 fights soloed, and my ult is at 73 out of 73 fights soloed. And I also have a current Deathless streak of 124 fights, so that's pretty cool. Nowhere near my best streak of all time, but we're going to keep working towards it, doing our best. My main account is at a 44 active streak, and my ult is at a 88 fight active streak. So that's going to be it. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.